What is going on, YouTube? It's your boy Willie Westside here, and if you can't tell by the different backdrop, I have moved. I am now doing the Disney internship program, and you can see by those mouse ears up there that I mean business here. I really love the program, and I wanted to kind of talk about that, as well as kind of talk about other stuff, and maybe pursue a different type of format than what I normally do, a little less drowning in Dokkan content. I'm very excited, so let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing I want to talk about are going to be my experiences at Disney. Now, a lot of people that I watch kind of ramble about the mundane, like day-to-day interactions, and so I want to make this a little bit interesting and kind of give some info that maybe you don't know. There are plenty of videos out there done really well by other content creators, I guess. They range from like where you live and what to expect in terms of roommates and what to expect in terms of job overflow, and I'm going to bypass that really quickly. My roommates are nice. The rooms are pretty big. I live with one other person who's really accommodating, and you work a lot of hours, but it never feels like quite enough. Anyway, back to the fun stuff. I work at Pirates of the Caribbean, pictured here in my uniform. It is a very fun job. I love it a lot. It is my favorite job I've worked so far, but it's really interesting, some of the kind of details that I didn't know previously, and I doubt most people do. So I kind of want to share those and give a little bit of info there to make it a little more interesting. So first thing, I work at Pirates of the Caribbean. I do a little bit of everything, as most people do when they work at any attraction. There's not much I don't do other than maintenance and maybe like coordinating and managing, but I run pretty much everything in the ride. And so kind of fun fact one of the video, there are always at least 10 people working on Pirates of the Caribbean alone. That's the bare minimum we're talking about here. It's between 8 and 10, kind of the bare minimum. Depends whether or not you count people that are on break. There are always 10 people at least assigned to that attraction. So if you look, there are 30 different attractions in the Magic Kingdom total. That means if we assume 10 is the average, which I think is a fair average, maybe 8's fair, but you're looking anywhere between 240 to 300 people working on attractions alone. Now keep in mind, Magic Kingdom also has people working maintenance. They have custodial staff. They have, merchandise locations. They have restaurants and food service and quick service and things like that. So I think it's a fair estimation to assume on a non-busy day there are about 1,000 people working in the Magic Kingdom, and an average population day that we kind of strive for is 50,000. It's about 50 guests to one worker on an average day, which is a lot, and that it's not counting like management staff and things that are still over Magic Kingdom but not necessarily there. So like your VPs or your park preses and things like that. All said and done, I think it's about 50 to 1 on an average day. And keep in mind, the numbers I'm quoting are estimations based on low population, so it's actually probably a smaller ratio, probably like 25 to 1 or something like that, because the cast does double as demand grows. Fun fact number 2, Pirates of the Caribbean is the second quickest loading ride in the Magic Kingdom. We can fit up to 23 people per boat. We send out 2 boats at once for a total of, I believe, 2,514 people per hour, every hour at maximum capacity. Anyway, that's an average. We can actually go higher depending on how many boats we have on our river and how accommodating we are to guests. So I just find that fascinating. Any of the nitty-gritty of Disney World is something that blows my mind. Hopefully it blows yours as well. I love little tidbits of Disney trivia, and it's something I hadn't considered. So Disney's been actually really enlightening. I do have to enter through the utilidors, which if you're not familiar with what that is, there is an underground city. Well, not underground, it's the first ground of the park, for the first level, and what we'd consider like ground level, it is level 1, so even with the ground, but it runs underneath the entire park, or most of the park at least, and it is the way cast members get around, and they do this to not break theming. You saw a pirate in Tomorrowland, that might look a little bit strange, just they're not supposed to be in the world of the future, they're of the past, so we try and keep the presentation pristine. Fun fact number 3, all cast members are considered custodial cast members. There's a piece of trash on the ground and I'm walking around, I am going to pick that up and put it in the trash can. It's called the Disney Scoop. It's the way you kind of walk and pick things up. I really enjoy it as a concept. I have worked in theme parks before that did not have this same motto, not calling anybody out, but I really enjoy that. It helps keep the park look very clean. There's a quote by Walt Disney that says, if you keep a park clean, guests will rise to the expectation. If you let a park get dirty, guests will make it worse. And basically the idea is that you dictate the park rules and guests adapt to them. And I think that's a pretty easily understood concept. You know, if I go to a restaurant and say there's peanut shells on the ground and they serve peanuts, I'm going to assume, oh, I can throw the peanut shells on the ground. Same thing with a theme park. If I go and I see a bunch of trash on the ground, I'm going to assume, oh, it's okay, it's not a huge deal. I'll probably throw stuff away, just a personal conviction, but I would totally understand someone just kind of leaving trash places because they're like, oh, they'll clean it up, that's fine. Versus if you go somewhere that is clean already, you would assume, oh, they prefer if I kept it clean. I'll do that for them. Fun fact number 4, there is actually a story where Walt Disney was walking through parks with one of his executives. I think it was a vice president or something like that. And this was at Disneyland, not Disney World. Walt Disney never actually set foot on Disney World property. But he was walking through Disneyland with an executive, and there was a piece of trash on the ground. And the executive stepped over, and Walt, walking around with his hands on his pockets, stopped and looked down. And the executive was talking about something and stopped and said, "What's up, Walt?" And Walt said, "Are you not going to pick up that piece of trash?" And the executive said, no, we have people for it. It's not a big deal. And Walt, of course, bit down, pick it up, said his infamous phrase, and then, you know, I'm guessing the executive was probably white as a sheet. Everyone contributes and makes the magic, and that's a very, very important thing. And I think that's something people don't realize, but every single worker at Disney World is contributing to Disney World in some way. And there's never this inherent hierarchy, in my opinion, that I've experienced. And some people's different experiences might be different, and that's fine. And there are, you know, definite leaders, and you know kind of your rank. But, you know, like last night, I had an idea of how something could be improved. I told my leader, and they were like, "Oh, it's a good idea, let's do that." And they just kind of went for it. There was not a, "Thank you for telling us, we'll take care of it." It was a, you know, "Oh, thank you, West." And part of that is, and this is fun fact number 5, the entire company is a first name basis company. There is no Mr. Smith, Miss Johnson, whatever. It is purely first name. So my name is West. Anybody I work with, you know, if I somehow was, you know, vice president of the company, people could go, "Hey, West, what's up?" That's perfectly fine. That's how you address someone. That was something Walt Disney wanted to implement in his parks, and that was something he really stuck with. So that's up for my Disney trivia. I will definitely share more as time goes on. This is only my first month finishing through, but I want to go ahead and transition into something more familiar to the channel, which is what I've been playing recently. What I've been playing recently is not too much. I did beat Catherine Full Body about a week ago. It was a great game. I was very surprised. I only bought it because Joker from Persona 5 was playable in one specific section, and it was kind of as a joke between friends. I had some extra money, so I put down on a pre-order, and I thought it'd be kind of fun, but I found myself addicted to it. The story is strangely gripping. It's not quite as risque as it seems based on the marketing, and the gameplay is really, really fun. It's a puzzle platformer, but done in a very unique way, and I was expecting to get tired of it by the end because I failed at it quite a lot, but every time I failed, it just kind of incentivized me to try something new again, and it gives you a lot of cool like tips and tricks that aren't necessary to completing the game, but can be very helpful. So I really enjoyed it. Now I'm playing Xenoblade Chronicles 2 and Yakuza 0, the former of which I made a review on, and it's one of the videos, while I will definitely keep it up because I enjoy kind of the production, I do disagree with some of the points I made in there now, having spent, you know, twice as much time in the game as I did before. The gameplay really stagnates and grinding becomes a chore. There's not a lot more than just kind of the initial combat, basically the exact same thing all the way through. There are a few leveling systems, but they're all the same for every character, and all you do is level up in kind of a set way. Whereas in Yakuza 0, which is a lot of fun, the gameplay and fighting mechanics change drastically over time. You have to find new ways to beat different enemies, changed by your difficulty, to be honest with you. There's also several different skill trees, but you're limited in leveling up based on one type of in-game currency for every single one. So you do have to pick and choose, you know, which you're going to favor, and there are different fighting styles that favor different, you know, sizes of enemies. So, you know, if you've got a group of 50, you're going to choose one fighting style, versus you have a one-on-one that's really strong, you might choose another. So it's really, really cool. It favors you for kind of being flexible and willing to play through. A lot of people rank it as one of their favorite games of the decade. I entirely understand it. It's a very well done game. I'm not very far into it, but I'm enjoying it so far. And last but not least, I guess I will talk about what I want to do in the channel. I want to make more of a show style content, and I suppose this is going to be kind of part of it. I'm going to adjust this model, so this is going to be feeling a little bit different than what we normally do, but it's going to become kind of the norm. I want to present, you know, something that I think is more of a show style format. So, you know, you can come in for your weekly dose of the West Side, and it becomes whatever this ends up becoming. So hopefully I'll have more for you in the future, but this is kind of what to expect. It's very rudimentary. It's my first time experimenting with this. I wanted to kind of give it a try and go forward. Also, be forewarned, uploads might be a little sporadic. I'm having trouble uploading here. The Wi-Fi here is terrible, at least in terms of upload. Download, it's okay. and playing online, I can do kind of okay. It's the uploading speed that is drastically terrible. Sometimes it takes me upwards of 9 hours to upload a single 10-minute video. So we'll see. But hopefully I hope to continue and get this up before too long. So if you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. If you didn't, also thank you so much for watching, though you probably won't see it. But I hope everyone has a magical rest of your day. And like we always say around here, I hope to see you around sometime. I guess fun fact number 1 is that I'm weirdly nervous for this video. I think I've made like 60 in my time, but yeah, I don't know why I'm so like